Once upon a time, there was a little boy called Howard who loved writing stories.
Little Howard dreamed of being a writer, and so he sat and wrote every night. But everything he wrote was fucking shite, yeah. Wubba-dubba-doo, wubba-dubba-doo. Worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world. He's a stupid, suck-ass, rubbish writer.
Welcome to the worst writer in the world, with me, Rufus, and my spooky, see-through, that wall won't stop him companion, Howard Long.
Hello! Yes, it's me, Howard Long, and it's a spooky one this week. What a mystery. It's a mystery.
Oh, wow.
What an exciting mystery. It's all about a room that's locked. What's the mystery? What will the mystery be? Will it be that, like, it's not locked?
Where's the key? Where's the key? All right, I found it. It was in my pocket all along. All right, the end. All right, bye, everybody. All right, so thank you to the British Comedy Guide for hosting this show. Thanks to our lovely patrons on Patreon for patronising this show. And thanks to you for listening to this show and no others. I assume they're not listening to other shows, right? That'd be really rude.
I think I
That'd
know.
be so rude.
Yeah, I know what's in that locked room. It's lots of positive reviews for the Worst Writer in the World podcast because I've not seen any, so they must be somewhere. And I think that all our listeners who are too busy listening to other podcasts and not writing reviews have written reviews and hidden them in this locked room.
Oh yeah, they did write them, but then they put them foolishly instead of putting them on, I don't know, Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any of the other million places that you can put reviews really easily and for free. They all were like, oh no, let's put it in this locked room. Then they'll never find out. They'll never find out that we like their show, and then they'll give up and cry.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, shall we get on with it? Shall we stop whinging and get on with it?
Yes, please.
I've got another story for you, Howard.
You've got a story for me, or do you mean that I've got a story for you?
All right, it's your story, written by you, as always. But I'm going to read it, so I get to be the one who says, hello, everybody. I've got a lovely little story to tell you by Mr. Howard.
Is it a sexy one? Why are you doing that sexy voice?
I hope not. This is from year 2 of middle school, so 12, 13 years old. Now, this one is called The Mystery of the Locked Room.
Ooh, I like a locked room mystery.
She slowly drew the key from the lock. Thousands of things went through her mind.
Wow.
The first of the thousands of thoughts she had...
No, 2 of the first.
Oh, no. The first 2 thoughts she had ran into a butcher shop.
Yeah.
All right, so she slowly drew the key from the lock. Thousands of things went through her mind at that moment. The thoughts of money. But could Mrs. Bishop be in there?
What?
It's a confusing sentence, but
It is rather.
it's information. Just try and separate it up into chewable chunks.
So she had like 1,000 separate thoughts about money. Was that what's happening here?
Well, she's probably thinking about £1,000, but £1 at a time.
Yeah, I think so. The first £2 went into her mind. The third pound went into her mind. Pounds number 4 and 5 went into her mind.
The fifth pound got in a car.
Yeah. The card drove off.
All right.
Welcome to the One Joke Podcast with Rufus and Howard.
10 jokes. The first 2 jokes are about a butcher shop, right? The second 2 jokes, they're about sinking in the Thames.
Oh my God.
And the 5th joke, that's about jumping over the fence and landing on a barbecue. I'll let you guess the others. We're having a good time, aren't we? Even if no one else is, even if everyone else has gone, we're enjoying ourselves, aren't we?
I mean, I particularly enjoyed that, though.
Thousands of things went through her mind. The thoughts of money, but could Mrs. Bishop be in there? She had second thoughts about going in, but she was determined to go in this time.
Why'd she take the key out the door then? She's getting it all wrong.
Maybe it's her key and she's just opened the lock and then she's taken it. Like when you go into your house, you don't leave. Maybe she's going into someone's house. Maybe it's an outside
Yeah, it's because
door.
I haven't described where it is. Yeah, I just assumed it was a door inside a house because you mentioned a maid, and then I was thinking it's an old house. And
That's why, isn't it? Yeah. And the idea of Mrs. Bishop being in there. So if she's a maid, she might be like a not an old-fashioned maid who lives in the house in period drama. She might be like a modern cleaner where someone might give the cleaner the key so they can get in while that person's at work to do the cleaning. I've heard of people doing that.
Yes.
But she's worried that Mrs. Bishop might be in there.
And want cleaning. She's like, she comes to clean everything in the house, but sometimes Mrs. Bishop just is there waiting to get cleaned.
Like in an empty bath, just sitting there naked in the empty bath going, "Ooh, have you come to clean me?" So she's determined to go in this time. So there's an implication there that she often goes to this door, but doesn't enter because she's too scared or something, right? Mm-hmm. She was determined to go in this time. She twisted the doorknob and ... The door wouldn't open.
Twist. It wasn't a door. It was Mr. Bishop. Oh, hello. What you twisted my knob for, young
Stop
woman?
twisting my knob, maid. Oh, what you doing to my husband? So, the door wouldn't open. Rats! She shouted, not because she saw any, this is in brackets, but because the door wouldn't open.
Right, yeah.
All right? Just in case you thought she'd, tried the door, it wouldn't open, and then she'd, at that moment, but you hadn't mentioned it, she'd seen some rats and gone, rats!
Yes. Well, I did. I immediately assumed that, it wasn't a doorknob at all. It was actually a knob that lets rats out or something. Like when you go to, the supermarket, you put 20p in your thing, you twist it and you get an egg out, right?
And loads of rats come out.
Yeah.
You go to the supermarket and you use the rat vending machine.
Yeah. Well,
I know. Of course, we've all done that, Howard.
Because
We're all familiar with that particular machine.
£1,000 went through her head, so she's put £1,000 in this rat vending machine, turned the knob, and all these rats come out, and she's like, rats! What did you think was going to happen? So don't put £1,000 in a rat vending machine if you don't want 1,000 rats.
Oh, I didn't think it through before putting £1,000 in the rat vending machine and then pressing rat.
Yes.
I'm so stupid.
It's a weird story, this, isn't it?
So, rats, she shouted, not because she saw any, but because the door wouldn't open. She began to pull harder.
Oh, maybe you should push.
I think that's probably going to be the thing, isn't it? She panted and puffed.
Oh, wow.
And hit the door. You've predicted it.
Oh.
You ruined your own punchline.
I didn't realise it was a punchline. I was just thinking that's how doors open, if you're on the outside of them. But I don't know. Depending on which side of the door you are. In any case, it seems like she's not inside a room, she's in a corridor, in which case the doors are most likely going to go forwards as well.
Well, I mean, it's a door. So after she'd been yanking on it for 5 minutes, she probably should have tried pushing it.
She should.
At some point. Gone, hang on, you're pushing.
In her job as a maid, who cleans this house regularly and knows she's not opened this door before, but she knows all the other doors, how they work. She's like...
She's tried to open this door a lot, but she always pulls it. It's never actually been locked. You can see, in offices, if you go to an office or an office or business, they have push or pull because it's not obvious which way it opens. But in a house, you can see the door frame.
Yeah.
You don't I don't go through a door in my house for the first time and go, oh, I wonder if it pushes or pulls. You can see the frame right there. Anyway, we don't know that she's inside a house. Let's not forget this. We're still assuming that.
Right, yeah. So I've got my money's on a plane. What are you going with?
She pushed it open, got sucked out, and so did all the other passengers, and everyone died. Yeah. She tried the door. She began to pull harder. She panted and puffed and hit the door. It opened. Oh, she thought. You're supposed to push, aren't you? And she thinks all doors are push doors as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yes, all doors push. I forgot that. Anyway, okay, I'll go into the room. Oh, I'm trapped forever. I'll never escape. I've been pushing this door for an hour and I can't escape. Oh, what a lesson to learn. Inside was a bedroom of some sort. a 4-poster bed. It does say a 4-poster bed, neatly positioned in the centre.
Wow, that's weird.
On the left side was a wardrobe, a chest of drawers, and long drapes hanging from the ceiling over in the corner. It doesn't say over a window, it's just some drapes hanging from the ceiling.
What's happening on the east side of the room, though?
Let's see if we find out. She noticed a small table with 2 long candles burning slowly away on it. Then the master appeared and stole one and took it to a moon of Gallifrey, and jelly monsters came out.
Yeah.
She could not see on the right, for the door was in the way.
Wow.
Because you're doing that description of thing where you try and you got to describe everything on the what's on the east side, what's on the west side, but you haven't done that. You've got on the left side was a wardrobe. She noticed a small table, but she couldn't see the right side of the room.
Any of it.
Because she's still standing in the doorway, and the door is only half open, and she's got her face against the door or something.
This is a really long door, covering the entirety of the right side of the room.
I mean, no wonder she had trouble opening it.
Everything would be behind that door by now, though, if that were true, wouldn't it? Yeah, the table and candles just swept behind.
Yeah. The room was empty.
Yes.
And then she looked around the other side of the door, and oh no, it wasn't. And there are 3 dead people there.
That's the locked room mystery. It's like when she looked through the keyhole, she could see like a bed and a table and some candles and Mrs. Bishop. But when she opened the room, it was empty, and there was just a woman.
They'd all disappeared.
Kind of like moaning from behind the door.
Yeah, just a smear of blood across the floor. She didn't know where it came from. Yeah, she closed the door, looked through the keyhole again, and saw lots of flat things. A flat bed and a flat table and a flat Mrs. Bishop. Yeah, do you think the mystery of the locked room was just that door bit?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't seem to open. It's such a mystery why I can't open this. Oh, push.
Always locked, no matter which way I turn the key.
So she couldn't see the right of the room because the door was in the way. She stepped into the room, turned, and she couldn't move her mouth.
Wow.
I mean, what could possibly happen? You walk into a room, turn, and your mouth is paralysed. There's a dentist in there, right? There's a rogue dentist, and he just injected her.
Yeah. Someone could just
gone numb.
have reached forward and grabbed her lips.
There's a monkey in there, and he's just grabbed her mouth. It's like, oh, there's a monkey's got my mouth, monkey.
Spoilers. See, that's spoilers for Murders in the Rue Morgue, isn't it, actually?
For what?
Do you know Murders in the Rue Morgue? It's a famous, locked room mystery where someone dies and no one can figure out how it got done.
And a monkey did it.
Turns out, no, actually, well, it's a gorilla, but I mean... Turns out a gorilla did it.
This is a famous mystery story, a locked room mystery. Did they not notice the gorilla in the room? Because if it's not in the room, that's the same mystery. In fact, I would say a locked room mystery, right? Is you find a dead body in a locked room and you don't know how that happened because the room's locked from the inside, right? That's the mystery because it's locked from the inside, but they were murdered and I don't know how the murderer managed to lock the door from the inside.
Yes,
and that's the mystery. But if a gorilla did that, that's the same. That's a bigger mystery.
Yeah, that's why it's famous, probably. Because
I mean, people can probably come up with a way of doing that, but gorillas, that's really impressive. And if that story is Detective John walked into the room and saw a bed, a table, a dead body, a gun, and a gorilla. Well, there's no way we're going to work this one out, said Detective John and gave up.
Yeah, what you don't realise is that the gorilla's got a lampshade on its head, so it's going to look really...
Oh, no, okay, no. Now it's got interesting.
Yeah. No, if memory serves, it is a trained circus gorilla.
Doesn't help. Go on.
Oh, no, I don't remember how it gets out of the room somehow. It definitely gets out of the room. It goes through the window.
That's more difficult than a person doing it. That's not easier,
but I don't think that
unless he's a flat gorilla who can go under the door.
No, he goes out the window and the window locks behind him or something, but I don't think that the gorilla locks the window behind him. I think that's kind of just a thing that happens.
So it's like the detective arrives, they unlock the door, and they're like, this person is dead and full of bananas. It's a mystery. And also the room is locked, but that's actually, it's just probably they went out the window and it locked behind them. That's really easy to work out. That's not a particularly
What
interesting
I'm saying
mystery.
is it's,
but why is he full of bananas?
I'm just...
Who murders someone by filling them with bananas? What kind of human person would do that?
I don't know. Let's call Detective Fluck. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. I reckon a gorilla did this.
Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Fluck. You think a gorilla did everything?
Yeah, I do that.
That is your answer to every single crime.
No, I can't deny that is true, but even a stopped clock accuses a gorilla of being a murderer twice a day, and gets it right. So,
Mr. Fluck, that is not the saying. That is not the correct saying.
well, agree to disagree.
The only thing that accuses a gorilla of committing crime twice a day is you.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
Recently, I've attached these hands to my face.
Now I say several things. Now I can say two things at once. One, a gorilla did it, and two, it's 3:15.
Gorilla murder o'clock. That's what I like to call it.
Murder past gorilla.
It's always murder past gorilla when it comes to Mr. Fluck, because I glued these hands to my face.
Yeah, it's not like they move, it's not like they go round. It's always murder past gorilla, and that's why I think a gorilla did it. I can't believe this is a thing. Are we going to put a spoiler warning on this one, whatever this story is?
No, I told you earlier on. It's called The Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Oh yeah, you
It's
did.
about a trained gorilla, a circus-trained gorilla that doesn't murder someone, but it kills them because it can't premeditate, can it? A gorilla. Or can it? And somehow it gets out the window, and then everyone's trying to figure out who did it, and then it turns out it was a gorilla. And
that seems like
for
such
some
a
reason we're supposed to take it seriously, but as a child, I was like, no, come on.
No, I mean, as an adult, I'm doing that. I feel like that seems like. I mean, I haven't read it. I've got no idea what it is, who it's by, or anything. But from
it's
your
by
description,
somebody called
right?
Mr. Fluck.
From your description, I'm thinking someone
trying
wrote
to prove that gorillas do murders. What about this story here? The Murders in the Rue Morgue. A gorilla did it then.
by Mr. Fluck.
Mr. Fluck.
From your description, I feel like someone wrote a fairly boring, uninspired kind of really predictable mystery, and they were and it turned out that the murderer got out the window. Someone read it like, this is really boring, and they went, all right. It turned out a gorilla got out the window. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That seems like a twist for the sake of a twist because your story's crap. Right? And as I said, I've never read it. I've got no idea of anything about it. And I'm being really, really unfair. But if Mr. Fluck wrote it, it's probably not great.
Well, I believe it's quite short, so you could probably read it.
Gorilla did it. So she stepped into the room, turned, and she couldn't move her mouth, gorilla, etc. All right, so it felt as if there was ice in the back of her throat.
Oh.
And she just stared in amazement at an old, frail man.
Oh.
He looked old because of the long beard and moustache, but mostly because of the slimness of him.
Not because of his wrinkles or his oldness.
Because of this, the shackles around his wrists were very small. Actually, he was only 42.
Oh.
Brackets, but how could she know? Well, I wasn't prepared for this man, so I'm going to have to think of a voice for him quickly.
Yeah.
Do not cry out, spoke the man. She may hear you and come. There was a warmness in his voice. I don't know if I performed that correctly then. Do not cry out. I can't do warmness. That's definitely.
I think that was a very good attempt.
An emotion. Do not cry out. She may hear you and come. How do you sound warm with those lines? Anyway, warmness isn't also what you say,
out.
right? It would have to be, yeah.
Come.
She may hear you and come. By the way, I've got some presents and brandy for you. Would you like some?
Yes.
Would you like to hug my gorilla? He is very warm. No, do not cry out. She may hear you. Should I do it the warm way? I should do it the warm way,
Do
shouldn't
it
I?
any way you like.
Do not cry out, spoke the man. She may hear you and come. There was a warmness in his voice, and I think we all heard it when I performed it so well just then. The ice broke, but
Wow.
she did not scream. That's weird. I think you're having a go at a metaphor?
No, she
Having a
literally
go?
shoved an ice cube in her mouth when she came. There was a warmness in his voice, but there was a coldness in the ice cube he rabbed in her throat. Yeah, I said rabbed in her throat. That's fine. That's definitely a word. I'm rabbing this in your throat now.
I'm rabbing you. I'm rabbing you. Ooh, ooh, Will. I mean, old man. Who are you? The man hesitated for a moment. My name, he said, with proudness, is George Bishop. Amelia was aghast. That is the first time you've used her name.
Yeah, a big twist finding out she's a ghost as well in that sentence. Right there, I wasn't expecting that. Amelia was a ghost. Are you here to psychoanalyse me, young woman?
No, I was looking for my jacket. I've got to go and have dinner with my wife. She doesn't know I'm coming, and nor will she know when I'm there. Amelia was aghast, not a ghost. Oh, wow. Amelia was aghast, and she says, but you're dead.
Pum, pum, pum.
Then how do I speak to you? Well, Bruce Willis did it in that film. He was going around speaking to boys and his wife and stuff. Then how do I speak to you? He said, mockingly. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Then how do I speak to you? That's mockingly. Right?
Yeah, it sounds
How do I speak to you? How do I speak to you? You are stupid maid. You are a loser.
He's really changed his tune, hasn't he, now?
He doesn't sound so warm now, does he? But why are you here? She asked. It's a long story, but you look quite patient. You've got a patient expression on your face. Okay, I'll tell you.
You see these shackles? That's it,
the end. Thin, long beard, shackles. But you need more? Locked room. The man began on his story. He told her of how he, one day, some years ago, had learned of his wife's split personality.
Ooh.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Ooh, she's crazy.
No.
She's
Yeah,
crazy.
Oh no. It's Howard. It's young 12-year-old Howard writing mental illness. I'm scared.
You know, I understood it very well. Mental illness at that age.
Years ago, he had learned of his wife's split personality. Sometimes she would be friendly. But sometimes she took the part of an evil woman. Oh my goodness. And when he spoke to her of it, the evil side had taken over and chained him up in their room. She had kept him in there now for many years and had stolen from him. By her the money he had won on the pods.
Pools.
Yeah, okay, but what about the rest of the sentence? So let's assume, I've got no idea what it says. But she stole the money he won on the pools, I guess.
Ooh.
And possibly something else.
Evil.
That's awful, cried Amelia. We must get you out of here. He looked hard at her. Why? I have nothing to look forward to. No home but this. Amelia was amazed. But you have to leave this awful woman. He sighed. It's not her fault. It's not her fault she locked me in a room for 30 years and stole all my money.
Well, it's not really her fault that she's got a split personality disorder, is it?
No, absolutely. But why? If he says he spoke to her about it and she went into evil woman mode and locked him in a room for 30 years, right?
Yeah.
But did she never become good woman and go, oh, where's my husband? Oh, I've locked him in a room. I better let him out.
I feel like her character only changes when she walks into that room. There's something about the threshold of that room that makes her go evil woman character.
Yeah, okay.
It's not her fault. Besides, she would go mad if I left her.
And I probably also. Okay. And I probably also would go mad. Amelia was getting angry now. It sounds as if you already are mad. How can you feel sorrow for one who has been so cruel to you? She has deprived you of an enjoyable life.
Yes.
He nodded.
Yes. What did you say? We've been locked up for? Did it say we'd been locked up for 30 years?
I said that. We don't know.
Okay.
I was guessing based on his thinness and.
No, because he's 42,
hairiness.
so that just means that they were married when he was 12.
Yeah, okay. I'm wrong. I'm wrong about that. Let's say 10 years.
Okay.
Let's say 10 years. All right.
Yeah, sounds better.
He said, "I see you're okay." I think there's just a missing word there. I think he's meant to say, "I see your point," because there's a comma after your. Okay, I will let you attempt to save. You just got to go. I'm bored of it. I'm gonna write 80% of the words from this point on.
Yeah.
Is that all right? And also for the rest of my life. This was the moment when you were writing this story. This is when your brain broke. Before this, everything was fine, and from this moment on, you'll always leave out a lot of the words. We'll have you out of here in no time. But straight away, she was faced with a problem. Where was the key? I don't think you've understood what a locked room mystery is. Right. I feel like your assignment for this was probably to write a locked room mystery, and your teacher maybe assumed that everyone knew what that was, but hadn't told you, and just went, everyone, I'm bored. I've got to go outside and smoke myself to death. So you lot all write a locked room mystery. I'll be back in an hour. And you were like, brilliant. Okay, so there's a locked room with a man in it. He's in chains. So where was the key? She began to hunt. After around 5 minutes, George said...
George came.
Oh, ready. You can come in now. I've finished. I'll piss on it. No, after about 5 minutes, George said, "I'm looking for this," and held up the key.
Oh, no.
Why didn't you tell me you had it? He turned to her. You didn't ask. As she undid the last cuff, why couldn't he unlock himself then, if he had the key in his hand? As she undid the last cuff, the clock struck again.
I don't know. I think there's a twist coming.
I think so, yeah.
I think that the reason that George Bishop has the key is because he's about to put a wig on and be like, "Ooh, I've seen Psycho." Spoilers for Psycho, everyone.
It's got George Bishop locked in a room, and then he puts a wig on and goes, "Oh, I've seen Psycho." That is the plot of Psycho. Yeah, you could be right. Let's find out, because there certainly hasn't been a Mrs. Bishop in it so far, has there?
But her character's description was likes to pretend she's her husband George. We should have seen it coming.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Instead, not put a wig on, but take the false beard off.
Yes.
Maybe you're subverting it.
Which is her hair. Her head's on upside down. Head. She's got a head. She just turns her head around, and it's like, and she's a woman now.
Oh, it's me after all. I had my head on upside down to make you think I had a beard.
I hope that happens.
I did wonder why your mouth was up there and your eyes were like where your chin should be.
Oh, please let that happen.
It just did, Howard. It just did. The clock struck again. She had not paid much attention to this before, but this time she counted. Gong 1, gong 2, gong 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, she cried. She'll be back. And sure enough, the key to the front door was heard. Wow, she arrives home at precisely 6 o'clock. She's probably been outside for 10 minutes because she got back early.
Yes.
The key to the front door was heard. The door opened. Amelia! She froze. Amelia! Mrs. Bishop cried again. She clamped up the stairs. No, she clomped up I mean, it's definitely an A, but I guess it's clomped up the stairs. She clamped her way up the stairs. I've not got any legs. I've got to get up with me clamps. Laronnier stole me legs. Now I've just got to use me clamps. Could you not use your arms or that stand a lift? Is that not? I don't trust it since I saw Gremlins. I don't dare get on it. So she clamped up the stairs. Actually, it's a stair. She clamped up the stair. So actually, she clamped up the stair. It's not a movement thing. She's just clamping a stair that was coming loose.
The evil one, probably.
She clamped up a stair.
It's the evil stare.
She clamped the evil stair so it wouldn't attack her as she went past. She screamed. The door was open. Oh, it switched to Mrs. Bishop's point of view. The door was open. She ran to it. So you dared to escape, George fool. She went to kick him, but Amelia bit her leg. Now that's weird, but think of the blocking of that. She's found her maid and her husband in the room she keeps her husband prisoner in, shackled. And she finds the maid has unshackled him, but they're still in the room. So she goes to kick him, and the maid probably gets down on all fours and bites her leg.
I think she's just kicking really high.
I guess so, in Amelia's mouth.
Yeah.
She screamed again as she fell backwards, knocking one of the candles over.
Oh no. Jelly monsters came out.
The master arrived. I see you have put a candle out. I've brought some jelly monsters for you. Wait. Oh no, I'm too late. Oh, hang on, I've got a time machine. I'll go back 5 minutes and stop this.
Yeah.
So she fell backwards. Mrs. Bishop fell backwards, knocked over the candle of ever. Jelly monsters came out. The master, Doctor Who, Jamie, blah blah blah. All right. She got up and slapped Amelia. Then kicked George in the face.
Wow.
She's an action hero.
Yeah.
Mrs. Bishop is a fucking action hero. By now, the candle, still lit, had rolled across the room. It's still lit, so the jelly monsters haven't come out yet, but it's rolled across the room. Amelia got up and punched Mrs. Bishop in the stomach.
Wow.
It's got very violent now. It was a nice story about a man imprisoned in a bedroom in shackles. So Amelia got up and punched Mrs. Bishop in the stomach. She helped George to his feet. The candle had now set the drapes alight. George and Amelia rushed from the room and ran down the stairs. The room Mrs. Bishop was in was now fully alight, and the fire was work on the other rooms as well. I guess it's spreading. George and Amelia ran on down the road, not looking back towards the remains of 109. When they reached safety, they were both so happy, and George took out a bank book from his pocket.
This is my favourite bit.
Just showing a good understanding of how life works there, 12-year-old Howard. He took out his bank book that he'd had in his pocket all the time.
Shackled up in his suit all that time, like with his credit cards and everything. Probably not working anymore. Like.
No.
His
no
10-year-old
credit cards,
bank book.
Just his bank book. But it gets better. Because out of the bank book fell the pool statement.
Oh.
It read, "Dear Mrs. Bishop, we are pleased to tell you that a record win is waiting for you of £257,893.22.
Wow.
We will be sending someone round as soon as possible. Yours sincerely, Ivor Million." Well, now, hang on. How long was he in that room then? If they will send someone around as soon as possible, like tomorrow, maybe the day after. Oh dear, my wife's locked me in a room for a whole hour, but fortunately I have super beard growing skills and lose weight very quickly if I don't eat every 3 minutes.
He's got one of those cranks on his back, hasn't he? Like the Play-Doh character.
Those cranks.
Like the Play-Doh people, you just turn it and he grows a beard and hair.
And also, it uses his body fat, so he gets thinner when you do that.
Yeah.
And that's why he was thin and beardy.
Okay.
Curiosity suddenly crept into her mind again. Why does it read Mrs. Bishop? She asked.
Ooh.
George slowly put his hands round her neck.
Oh, my God.
They're just standing outside the cost cutter at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
They just went down the street. There's like people going, like walking past with their children and stuff. George slowly put his hands round her neck. Oh, didn't I tell you that I got my words mixed? Dearie me, I do look rather stupid, don't I? No, it's me who has the split personality, he said, as he strangled Amelia to death.
Oh, no!
The end.
Wow. Why did he keep himself locked up like that then? He had
Well,
the
it's
key.
probably his good self did that to his bad self.
Yeah.
It's like Stephen Moffat's Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with bloke in it.
With bloke in it, yeah. We should have seen this coming, actually, because like we commented on how strange it was that he went from speaking very warmly to suddenly being very mocking.
That's true, yes. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Good bit of foreshadowing. Look, we thought it was just bad writing.
Yeah.
We thought it was just inconsistent characterization, but actually...
I'd
Foreshadowing.
fix it these days. I'd put like he said warmly, like a nice, really nice part of a personality. But then he said mockingly, laughing evilly and twirling his moustache because he was now evil because he had a split personality. That kind of thing.
Now, would you like to guess what score out of 20 you got for that story?
I want to say 19.
It is 19,
Yes!
You're absolutely correct. But you also got some words,
Wow.
which is rare. And the comments are, good story, but be careful of your paragraphing. And then, as I think I mentioned last time, immediately afterwards, you got classwork paragraphing.
Good.
And then, but the best part is, I mean, actually, your paragraphing wasn't. No, actually, that is quite bad. All right, so your paragraphing is bad here, but then he goes, be careful with paragraphing, teaches you paragraphing, and then the next story on the next page has no paragraphs.
Yay!
You have utterly ignored that advice that you did. You just went, no, fuck you and your paragraphs. I am a renegade. I'd say, like, it is perfect, but it could be better than perfect if, when she'd gone in, it had been a gorilla in chains.
Yeah, I believe
and
so
it was
too.
a gorilla with a split personality.
Yeah, I agree. Or like a were-gorilla. So he's a man who turns into a gorilla, and that's his split personality.
Yeah, that works too, yeah.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Gorilla. It's a clue in the title there.
All right, Howard, you told me about a short story in this episode, and I went away and read it. It was a story called The Murders in the Rue Morgue
Oh, right, yeah.
by, it turns out, Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's not
yeah,
French,
yeah.
though, is he?
No, but Detective Dupin is...
Let's see, Ledgar Allan Poe is what he's called in France, of course.
Yeah, we just call him the Edgar, the Allan, the Poe.
Yeah.
Now, it turns out I was quite wrong to say that the reason he had to put a gorilla in was because everyone had done every idea in locked door mysteries and in detective fiction, and so he just had to go, oh, fine, I'll put a gorilla in, because apparently that story is credited as the first modern detective story that basically created the style of detective fiction that then Sherlock Holmes and Hercule Poirot use.
Yes.
So this is like the prototype. So the very first kind of deductive reasoning detective story that apparently was written before the word detective existed.
Yeah.
The writer of that one went, this is so boring, I'm putting a gorilla in.
Yeah.
and let me tell you, it is a boring story. Oh my God. It was just a lot of talking. It was just this detective going, I will tell you where this strange air comes from. In about 3 pages, I will tell you, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, it turns out it wasn't a gorilla. It was an orangutan.
Oh, sorry.
No, but that's not the important part. The part you left out that I feel that you should have mentioned is that the orangutan didn't just kill people, it also shoved them up the chimney. That's part of the mystery, because it's all like this. It seems like this person had superhuman strength the way he rammed them up the chimney to try and hide the bodies. Yeah, it's an amazing story that I don't recommend.
No, but you're right. It is the very first one, and the thing that everybody failed to take from that was to include a monkey, and that's where detective genre went wrong thereafter.
Absolutely. Apparently, they took the very clever detective, the narrating companion, and the extremely long, boring explanation of how it happened, but not the orangutan, and not the shoving bodies up the chimney because you're an ape and you think you might get in trouble. How did that become a whole genre? Fuck's sake, how boring were stories back then that someone went, I tell you what we should make a whole genre out of, this monkey murder thing. Fucking brilliant.
Yes, but the point is that, you don't get it right the first time, do you? Somebody saw something in it and was like, that maybe we could do this, but like not have monkeys shoving things up chimneys. Maybe I'll have a Moriarty instead.
Yet again, another example of an American pioneer and then English people ruining it.
Worst writer in the world. Worst writer in the world. Worst writer in the world. Worst writer in the world.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Worst Writer in the World. If you'd like more, then why not check out what's available at patreon.com/manbycow. For as little as $2 a month, you could get more audio entertainment than you could shake a dog at.
Oh, it's a bloody bargain.
That's my contribution.
Your contribution is valuable and we all want it. I think everyone was listening then going, I wish Howard would say, ooh, it's a bloody bargain.
I'm the man on the street, aren't I? I'm like
You are,
I'm
yeah.
the audience's kind of like what's the character they connect to? Because they hear you trying to sell them something, and everyone's like, "That's a salesman.
Yeah.
I don't like a salesman. I don't want to buy anything."
Yeah.
But then the man on the street comes along and goes like, "I'd like to buy that, please," and then everyone wants to be like him and
You're
buy
my
it.
stooge then, aren't you? You're my stooge. I'm standing up on a soapbox going, trying to sell like Rufus's amazing cure-all
And I am a
medicine.
monkey with one of those pianos that you squeeze with a squeezy piano.
Squeezy piano, yeah. No, not that. No, when I said stooge, I didn't mean monkey with a squeezy piano.
Oh, no.
I mean the person in the crowd who's actually secretly working with me, but pretends to be just a member of the crowd and goes, "Oh, that sounds," or goes, "That sounds rubbish." And then I
Okay,
go,
right, yeah.
"Well, perhaps you should come up and try it." And you're, "All right, then it won't work though." And then you try it, and you're like, "Mum, I'm cured. My
Yes.
legs grew back."
That's true.
and then I sell it to all
That's
the
true.
people.
I got confused. I forgot that like everyone knows that the monkey with the squeezy piano works for the guy. That's obvious.
It's like,
Otherwise,
"Oh,
it's just
I'll try it out on this passing monkey who's squeezing a piano.
Yeah.
Oh, look, he's turned into a man. All right. Anyone else? All right, that's all. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye-bye, milk.
Go buy some milk.
He's a stupid, suck-ass, rubbish writer. Yeah.